All right, let's talk about the future of AI on social media, because by 2026, everything you think you know is about to change. We're not talking about just using tools anymore. We're talking about having a true AI co-pilot. So let's dive in and figure out what that actually looks like. You know that feeling, right? Just completely drowning in social media tasks. It's this endless treadmill of content creation, scheduling, analyzing. It's exhausting. But what if the answer isn't just another tool to add to the pile? What if it's a total shift in how we approach the work itself? And that's really the core idea of this 2026 playbook. It's this move away from just using AI for one-off tasks. We're talking about a genuine partnership. So stop thinking of AI as a simple calculator you pull out when you need it, and start thinking of it as a strategic co-pilot, right there in the cockpit with you, helping to navigate the entire journey. Okay, so let's get into the biggest change of all. How AI went from being a simple task rabbit, something you just give commands to, into a real strategic engine that actually thinks with you. Yeah, this really lays it all out. The AI we're used to, it's a tool. You have to constantly poke it, right? Write me a caption, generate an image. It's useful for sure, but it's all manual. Now, the 2026 AI is a whole different beast. It's an engine that's always running. It's managing workflows on its own, it's finding new content to adapt, and it's spitting out the whole package, video, carousels, copy, all without you having to micromanage every single step. Okay, so calling it an engine sounds cool, but what does that actually mean day to day? Let's look at how these new systems literally automate the entire workflow, from the very first idea to the final post. Okay, check this out, because this is the real game changer. Imagine you just published a new blog post. The AI engine sees it, scans it, and boom, it automatically breaks it down into like dozens of little social media nuggets. Then it rewrites each one to fit the vibe of LinkedIn, X, TikTok, you name it. And finally, it schedules everything to go out at the absolute perfect time for peak engagement. It's a completely hands-off end-to-end system. And the impact? It's absolutely huge. We're talking about an 85% reduction in the time you spend on content production. Just let that sink in for a second. That 20-hour-a-week grind, it could now take just 3 hours. That's not just an improvement, it's a total revolution in efficiency. All right, so the AI has the workflow handled, but what about the creative stuff, the actual content? Well, this is where it gets really cool. We're way past AI just scheduling some text for you. Now it's creating everything. But I know what you're thinking. It's the #1 fear every marketer has. Is this going to sound like a robot? Am I going to lose my brand's voice? And look, that is a totally valid concern. But the tech in 2026 has a pretty amazing answer for it. The solution is this idea of brand voice sovereignty. So instead of using some generic one-size-fits-all model, the AI trains only on your brand's best-performing content. It learns your exact phrasing, your tone, your humor. It even uses what's called local vector storage. Think of it like a dedicated memory for your brand, so it doesn't get confused and starts sounding like someone else. What you get is an AI that's culturally smart. It knows to be provocative on X and professional on LinkedIn, but it always sounds like you. And we're not just talking about text here. This goes way beyond that. The insane power of video models, the next versions of things like OpenAI's Sora or Google's Veo, it's not some separate clunky plugin anymore. It's just a standard feature built right in. So you can create a slick 15-second reel with perfect lighting and sound that matches your brand, all without ever leaving your social media dashboard. The idea of needing a huge budget for video, that's pretty much gone. So, okay, the AI can create amazing content and schedule it perfectly. But honestly, its most powerful new trick might be this. It's basically an algorithmic crystal ball. It can predict how well a post is going to do before you even publish it. It works using something called predictive performance scoring. What that means is, before you hit post, the AI takes your draft and runs it against all your past data and what it knows about current algorithm trends. It then gives you a score, an estimate of how well it's likely to do. It's like getting to A/B test your content before anyone even sees it. All that guesswork about which headline to use, gone. And you can see the results right here. Brands that lean into these predictive insights are seeing engagement rates jump by as much as 40%. And it's not from some massive overhaul. We're talking about tiny AI-suggested changes, tweaking the first line of a caption, or changing the first 3 seconds of a video that make a massive difference in performance. Now, this power to predict and optimize content, it's incredible. But it also brings us to a really important and frankly difficult conversation. When you have this much influence over what people see and click on, you're walking a very fine ethical line. So we have to talk about the risks. Here's the central problem. An AI that can create hyper-personalized content and use what are called digital nudges can be a force for good, right? It can guide people to things they'll genuinely love. But that same power can be used to exploit our psychological weak spots, and that's where the line between persuasion and manipulation gets incredibly blurry. And if you get this wrong, the consequences are devastating. Just look at what happens to consumer trust. You have a data privacy scandal like Cambridge Analytica, and trust just tanks from 75% down to 30%. Or you have algorithmic bias, like that infamous Amazon hiring tool that penalized female candidates, and boom, trust gets cut from 70% to 25%. These aren't just numbers on a chart. These are events that can literally destroy a brand. Which, of course, brings us to the big question that's probably on your mind right now. With AI this powerful, is the social media manager's job over? Well, the answer, pretty much across the board, is a firm no. Think about it. The AI is amazing at the repetitive stuff, the drafting, the scheduling, the data crunching. But those uniquely human skills, things like high-level strategy, real creative vision, building a community, and most importantly, making those tough ethical calls, those are more valuable than ever. So it's not a replacement, it's the most powerful assistant you've ever had. And that really leaves us with one final thought. Moving forward, the real challenge isn't going to be learning how to use a new tool. The challenge is learning how to manage an AI co-pilot. So the question is your brand ready to lead that partnership? Because that is going to be the secret to winning in 2026 and beyond.